And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Kerala, The Way of the Elephant. Okay, this game has elephants on it, and for some reason, this game here is from Thames and Cosmos, although it just looks like, I don't know why, it looks like it should be a Queen game. Queen uses a lot of elephants. And also you can see the light coming off it because it's shiny. But this game, a game about elephants, is essentially an abstract strategy game for 2 to 5 players in which you are going to be laying out tiles and making a kind of a mosaic in front of you. Here's how it plays. In this game, each player is going to get a starting tile of their color. So let's say I'm blue. I'd place this tile here in front of me, and then I'll put 2 beautiful elephants on top of that tile. And the game comes with enough elephants for 5 players. On a turn, whoever's turn it is going to draw 3 tiles from the bag, and they will choose one of those tiles, place it adjacent, and move an elephant to that spot. Then each other player is going to draw one. There's enough tiles. You draw tiles equal to the number of players in the game, so that would have been a 3-player game. If you're playing 2 or 3 players, it will actually be a bit fewer tiles in the bag, so that everyone has equal turns. Then the next player goes, they would draw 3, and they draft first, so maybe they'll take that. The next player, I'm stuck with this, so I put this here and move an elephant on it. And as I add tiles to my board, I must move an elephant onto it. So for example, I can't put a tile here because I can't get an elephant to that spot. But I could put one here and move that elephant there. And you're going to keep doing this until the game ends as you add elephants around the board or add pieces. Some tiles will do special things. When I have this tile here, I can move a tile from one spot to another as long as it doesn't, and here it would be very difficult with my setup. But let's say I had a tile here, maybe I can move that tile up here. You can't break up what you're doing, but it can let you move a tile, or it can let you move a whole stack of tiles. By that, I mean, if I draw this tile, I can place it here and then move on top of that tile. So you can always move your elephant, and you're just basically replacing a tile. There are also tiles that let you move an elephant. So if I place this tile here, for example, I can then move an elephant, including this one here, if I want to. I can move it anywhere. You can also not take a tile at all, and then you lay your elephant down. Your elephant can still move around the board. It's just a way to show that you've passed. You can pass 2 times over the course of the game. And then there's the other last kind of tile is this tile, and I'll explain it in a second, because when the game is over, you're going to do scoring. You're only allowed to have 1 group of each color. So let's say, for example, that my final thing looks a little bit like this. It will probably be bigger than this. Now, you're only allowed to have 1 group of color except your own color. You can have 2 groups of. So yay, I'm blue. I have 2 groups of blue, but I have 2 groups of red. And this is a problem. Actually, let's move this blue one here. Let's put this like this. Okay, so I have 2 groups of red. So I pick one of the groups, turn the tiles over, and I'm going to lose -2 for each tile. Then you lose 5 points for each color you don't have. Fortunately, I have every color, so I'm fine. Then, if you didn't lay your elephants down, you get 1 point for each you didn't lay down. So you could get 2 more points if you didn't pass it all. Then you look at each of these tiles. Each of these tiles, you see this one's blue, but if this connects to purple, it will get me a bonus 5 points. It does connect to a purple, so I would get 5 points there. After that, I simply count the elephants. Not these. These don't count. They're just used to move elephants. And I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 points. And you keep track of all that here, all the different scoring here, and then you count the number of elephants you have of each of the 5 colors. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. So as you can see, the game here is pretty simple. It's moving and placing tiles. The game, though, I find very fun. The tiles essentially is a drafting mechanism where you're going to be taking a tile, and sometimes you'll take a tile because it helps you. Occasionally you'll take one because you don't want someone else to get it. But usually you're sitting there working on your own grid. So there's not a lot of interaction between the players, but I don't think that's a big deal. The drafting makes it interesting, and you're taking it, and you essentially have usually, I guess, up to 6 places that you can place a tile, right? You're placing it next to the different things. Actually, I guess you have up to 8 because you can go back and put it on the tile you just came from. But you're trying to make groups. So obviously you're going to make groups of big colors, make big groups. You want to get the ones with 3 elephants on. Those are useful because they're 3 points each. You want to have only one group. You got to kind of build those groups. If you make 2 groups, can you connect them, or will you cover up one of them? That moving a bunch of tiles or moving an elephant can be pretty handy, but at the same time, they give no points. Those 5-point tiles are great, but what if those 2 colors aren't next to each other? And then, of course, you can have 2 groups of your own color. Honestly, after saying what all I just said, there really isn't a lot more to talk strategy-wise. I will point out that the game plays very quickly and works well with 2 players, and about as much fun with 5. The only difference is with 5, there's 100 tiles, so you'll have a 20-tile mosaic at the end. With 2 players, you have 80 tiles, so you will have a 40-tile mosaic. So a 2-player, you have a much bigger group to work with, so your scoring is higher, but the gameplay is essentially the same. The only difference is you have more time to make mistakes or fix your mistakes. But I think that the game itself is just basically, where's the best place to put this tile now? You can try to think for the future. I guess you could count how many tiles there are of each color. I think you could do that. And sometimes it's obvious if there's a red 3 or a red 2, I'll probably take the red 3, right? But other times you have to sit there and kind of guess, and you have to know when to pass. You get a point for each time you don't pass. That's not really worth it. It's probably better to pass at some point so that you don't take a tile that's going to be worth probably -2 points for you. And so you've saved that point there. And I think that's okay, right? You get a point if you don't pass, but they're not trying to say don't ever pass. But you have to know the right time to pass. Maybe I can put this black tile out that creates 2 groups, but I'll probably be able to cover it or combine those groups in the future. Everything's good quality. The elephants are big, nice, chunky. It looks good. It is essentially a themeless game. Yeah, the way of the elephant, whatever. But at the same time, I think it's a game that a lot of people like. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. That is Kerala. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.